actually born in Champaign, Illinois.
Champaign.
But I moved out to Israel, Palestine when I was 1, lived there till I was 7, and I'm actually dual citizen, but obviously identify as anti-Zionist at this point in my life. And as far as like, you know, multiracial solidarity and just cross-issue solidarity, it's not an easy thing at all. You know, there's always going to be conflicts. There's always going to be a lot of nuanced complexities that always come in the way. But at the same time, I remember a few years back we were working to support a coalition that was being built in Detroit between Black organizations and Arab organizations. We have the largest Arab community in the country in Detroit. And there's obviously been a lot of tensions, like, you know, around the gas stations and, you know, liquor stores and stuff like that that may be owned by the Arab community. And then at the same time, there's a lot of racism happening against the Arab community and against the immigrants community, period. And, you know, people aren't speaking to each other. So there was a coalition that was being formed to deal with those issues. And it wasn't like people that came to the meetings had issue with each other. They were all cool and on the same page. But as far as trying to broaden it to the wider community, people weren't really hearing it. They weren't trying to get involved. And I remember we were asking around, trying to figure out how to get people more involved. And it really came down to figuring out, first of all, what we have to gain by working with each other, you know, and how we can struggle together, because all of these communities are facing similar oppressions, but it's really about seeing where those interconnect. So for example, there is an organization in Detroit called Day Project that works in the Hmong and Asian community in Detroit. And a few years back, there was a young man of Hmong heritage that was gunned down by the police in his own bed 27 times by the Warren police, right? That same month, there was a young Black man that was gunned down by police at the mall, at Eastside Mall. And both of them, you know, both of the youth that were murdered had friends in different organizations on the East Side. One was Day Project, Detroit Asian Youth Project, that was working heavily on Chung Berry's case, the Hmong youth that got murdered. And then the other young man, he had friends in a group called LEAP, which you know, did a lot of like legal advocacy for youth in that same neighborhood, and they had never worked together. But after that situation, they started heavily building a campaign together to spread the word about, you know, knowing your rights with police, and also trying to create alternative ways to deal with conflict in the neighborhood so that people didn't have to call the police in the first place. Obviously, the way these issues were addressed in the Hmong community was very different from in the Black community, and people had to come up with their own strategies, their own campaigns, their own approaches, but they still dealt with each other in a way they never had before. Another example